We talk about the stock and the company all the time, obviously. I wonder if you could just reflect for a moment before we talk about the future on what's happened to your business over the past couple of quarters.
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, from our view, it seems like the commerce world that would have existed in the year 2030 has really been pulled into the year 2020. We've seen e-commerce as a percentage of total retail go from about 15% to 25% in the last 3 months. That's the same growth rate that we've seen over the last 10 years or so. And I think what really has emerged here is sort of this tale of two retail worlds. On one side, you have these resilient retailers that are doing great. They're pivoting, they're expanding their businesses. On the other side, you have these resistant retailers who, as you've spoken about on the show often, have not made it. And in many ways, it's probably the most exciting time for retail in a very, very long time.
For those resistant retailers, is it too late to start building this? I mean, if the TAM out 5 years out is so large, so much larger than it is today, some might argue maybe it's not.
So it's a really, that's another good question. We talk a lot about these direct-to-consumer brands that are becoming category leaders, the Allbirds and the Gymsharks, who started on Shopify when they were very small and have grown to become, frankly, the incumbents in their industry. And every 25 seconds, a brand new entrepreneur makes his or her first sale on Shopify. So we talk a lot about those new startups, those new DTC brands. But actually, what we're also seeing on Shopify is companies like Lindt Chocolate or Heinz Ketchup or Chipotle are signing up for Shopify. And basically from like 5 days from contract to launch, they are completely changing their businesses. And so this resiliency isn't simply in the hands of just the smallest of brands. Big companies are also beginning to think a lot more about how to stay resilient in this time. And they're moving well beyond e-commerce. They're thinking about offline commerce. They're thinking about how do they cross-sell across social media? How do they sell across different marketplaces? And so, no, I don't think it's too late. But I do think they have to rethink their strategies.
We talk about these big macro tailwinds that you've got, but you also are making strategic choices in the meantime. This partnership with Walmart obviously made huge news, I think, in June. Can you talk about the calculus behind that and what you see Walmart doing vis-a-vis its own competitors?
Yeah, I think most people assume that Shopify is an e-commerce provider, and we have more than 1 million stores on Shopify. If you were to aggregate our stores in the U.S., we'd be the second largest online retailer in America. Of course, we're not a retailer, but we're a platform. But we now have these great economies of scale that we're using to level the playing field for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Now, that being said, what really Shopify is evolving into is the world's first retail operating system. And so what we're trying to figure out is, what do brands and entrepreneurs and retailers need, not just now, but in the future? And we think the future retail is retail everywhere. A brand that's going to be successful in 5, 10, 15 years from now needs to sell across any platform, across any channel where they have customers. And so this idea of enabling Shopify merchants to very easily push their products to the Amazon marketplace or the eBay marketplace or now the Walmart marketplace, that gives them access to a new set of consumers. But the idea is that it all feeds back into one centralized back office, the retail operating system, which is Shopify. And then we've gone ahead and said, well, what else can we do for these merchants? Can we do capital? We've now given out about $1 billion worth of cash advances and loans to small businesses. We're doing fulfillment. We're doing shipping. And we're increasing the scope and the relationship that we have with the 1 million stores on Shopify. And this is allowing them to become category leaders.